How to get a credit card for the first time in 2022. I have a 4-part series. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to break it down. Parents, you are going to love this. And teenagers, if you're about 12 or 13, get your mom and dad to listen to this. This is really important. Let's start with interest. And what's a good interest rate on a credit card? 0. 0. So first of all, I'm going to back up and educate you a little. Debt is the cost of money. So debt is the cost of money means somewhere in it you are going to be paid interest. Like I'm a hard money lender. I've lent money to people most of my life. I actually love that investment and I get first position on their property. So they don't pay me back. I take over the property, thank you. So I will only do it in first position. Some of you investors out there, you don't know enough, so you take second positions. Debt will trump you all the time, and first position will trump you. That's just like a really big gamble, very odd. There are a few ways to do it, but that's a different investing conversation. So when you're paid interest, 10, 12, 15%, it's a happy day. When you're paying interest on credit cards because you're not spending and using right, it's a really bad day. Some of you, because you just don't know, you're spending 15, 18, 21, 28. I've seen as high as 31% on credit cards if you don't use them right. So who makes the money? The banks, right? The credit card companies, which are supported by banks. So why would you ever pay that kind of money? You can't even make that money on an investment, much less pay it that way. So people's concept of debt and credit card drives me crazy. Because wealthy people use debt and credit cards as an asset, as a tool. In fact, I just started teaching it that way. If you want a debt program, we're going to put it in the asset column because it is an asset used right. Why even deal with debt management and reconsolidation? Don't get yourself there. So if you're watching this and saying, I'm already there, I do have solutions for you. So email our office, call our office, and we'll help you get out of your problem. But if you're like healthy on the front side and you have some good credit, keep your interest rate at 0. You say, well, how do I do that? You pay it off every month. And if you're already like past it and you've got 8 and 10 and 12%, go renegotiate with the card company that you have first. That's the first thing I would do. Go renegotiate with them. They're already used to having you. They're used to your behavior. They're used to your history. It's easier just to say, I want 0%. And I'm going to pay it off every month. Now, they may or may not believe you. They're going to have to see that pattern for a few months, so do it. And it might take you 60, 90 days to prove it. Or you can just actually card jump. I'm not a huge fan of that because the system is going to see you do it. But you could just go over to a different credit card company, get a 0%, transfer your balance, and now you're at 0%. 0 is where you want to stay, but you've got to be responsible. Do not use your card if you don't have the money to pay for it. You're not using your card hoping you make money, especially if you're not an entrepreneur and you can't just turn on your money-making machine. And if you want to turn on your money-making machine, I'm going to give you tickets to a marketplace I do every 3 weeks, and we'll teach you how to turn on a marketplace and turn on your money-making machine. It's not difficult. So let's stay on debt. I want to back up and tell you even a bigger issue about debt and interest and why it makes the world go round. Banks. Banks are on a 10x structure for debt. It's called an arbitrage. So when you put in money, say, I'm going to get you up to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 company. For $100,000, you give the bank $1 million to lend down. They take that money and they're going to borrow it out to consumer loans. Now, you don't get any of that interest because you put your deposit in. The banks get the difference. That's called an arbitrage. You give them your deposits. Now you have some place to bank. They get the money and they're going to loan it out for a car loan, computer. They'll do HELOCs. They're going to do a home remodel. They're going to do whatever loans, student loans, whatever loans they actually will do from the bank. They make all that interest. And minimum, given higher interest rates, they're getting 5, 8, 9. The more interest they get, it depends on your credit and your credit worthiness. So since banks have been living from the beginning of time on the arbitrage of your deposits, interesting, you don't make a dime. There's a way to negotiate banks. Go to my search bar up above and we'll talk about banks. I've got a lot of videos on how to start handling and being in relationship in a healthy way with banks. But debt is something I want you to get comfortable with. This old adage of I need to be debt free is a lie if you want to get wealthy. It doesn't even coexist. Now, you can go some of the folks that are out there, I'm going to say the older, generation who love to be debt free. That's fine. I mean, later in life, if you want to pay it all off and then do your inheritance where there is no debt that's going to carry forward. But guess what? Debt's actually assumable by the next generation in a generational wealth plan. So when we had an airplane, I had like a 1.6 or 1.8% loan on a $3 million aircraft. And in aviation, I'd put $1 million down and I financed the other $2 million. So think about it. Why would I have ever taken $2 million to pay off really cheap money. Even if it was 3%, I wouldn't have paid it off. I'm going to take $2 million and I'm going to go invest it at 12, 15, 20, 30%. Now I'm making all the money on that money, which is more than enough money to then pay the payment. See, that's using good debt. And so many of you got it all tangled up because no one's ever taught you how money really works. And it's not difficult. You just got to be smart about it. And the core of it is you have to learn to make money to pay for the life you want. So the answer isn't, oh, I have credit card debt and I have all these problems. No, you have an income problem. You don't have a debt problem. So let's solve the right problem. So what's the best interest rate to keep on credit cards? 0. And we'll help you get there. Some of you who have totally tangled up your life, which we're working with a lot of student athletes. I got student athletes that didn't know how to even open a credit card application at 18 years old. From the minute you apply, will determine whether you're going to get how much you're going to get and what the lines of credit you're going to get. So this again, part 1 of 4, critical. Parents, teens, you got to do this right. You do it right from the beginning. You are going to be so healthy financially. What I want you to do right now is subscribe, hit the notification button, be here every day. And clearly to hear number 2, 3, and 4, you got to be here. So you might as well get a little bell ringing in the morning because I'm here 5 days a week. Also subscribe, share with your friends. If you're in college, man, let everybody know about it. If you're a fraternity or in a sports team, don't do this wrong when you go out to college and your parents didn't set you up for this. Then I need you to go over to askloral.com. Ask me any question, make a request. I have a free membership and I have a $17 membership where you can text me 24/7 and you actually get to be live on some phone calls with me a couple times a month. So let's get connected. Let me help you. I'm going to be your mentor with money.